Hey, so Spider-Man Homecoming is the first movie and introduction to Spider-Man in the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. This movie stars Tom Holland, Marissa Tomei, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Angry Rice, Robert Downey Jr., Michael Keaton, and Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan, which is cool. He's returning from the series from the Iron Man movies and the Avengers movies, the MCU movies. And so, Spider-Man Homecoming is the first of the trilogy, which is directed by John Watts, who has gone on to do many great things like Star Wars and stuff. And he said this movie is basically like a tribute to Breakfast Club, which is cool. It's like a high school comedy drama type of movie where so in the movie Captain America Civil War, all the MCU heroes have a conflict with each other, and so Robert Downey Jr. decides to go to New York and goes to Peter Parker's apartment and is flirting with Aunt May or whatever, Marissa Tomei, and he tells her that he wants to recruit Peter for the Stark internship. So Robert Downey Jr. sees that Tom Holland is a vigilante with a homemade costume. He has superpowers. He's saving people, and Robert Downey Jr. has figured this out and knows this. So he gives Peter Parker a suit and has him fight for him on his side of the team in Civil War. And then that was our first introduction to Tom Holland as Peter Parker. And so this movie is his standalone movie about him. In this movie, we see Peter Parker is making a vlog, Tom Holland, and he's filming everything about being with Jon Favreau, Happy Hogan, and they are in a hotel in like Germany or something, some foreign country, and he's recording all this, his adventures as Spider-Man. And then when he gets to the hotel, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, Tony Stark leaves him a present, which is a really cool high-tech suit. Like, and it's very high-tech. It has all sorts of stuff. It has a built-in heater, built-in everything, and AI system. But he has the training wheels protocol at first, so he doesn't have access to all the suit's capabilities. But Peter Parker wants to be an Avenger, and then Robert Downey Jr. just tells him, look, you need to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, just stick to ground level small things, not Avengers level threats and stuff. So Tom Holland is going around and doing like nice things for the community, basically, and stopping petty crimes and stuff. And so he tells him that Happy Hogan will call him when it's time for him to be recruited. So he goes and he gets like a sandwich from the bodega or something, and he's like friends with everyone in New York City. He's really nice, and he knows some people. They know him, which is cool. And he goes behind in an alleyway and strips, and then puts on the suit where it sucks it. He puts on the suit, and then he's like trying to stop a crime, what he thinks is a crime, and Stanley's like yelling at him. He's like, "Don't make me come down there," or whatever. And then he goes to high school, and Jacob Batalon, Ned, leads, is his best friend. They're both nerds, and he's like, I want to build the Lego Death Star with you, and he's like, okay. So, and then Ned later in the movie actually makes the Lego Death Star. He finishes it. He says like 1,000 pieces or something, or 2,000. I don't know, but yeah, he goes into he's at Peter Parker's apartment because they were gonna like hang out and because they're friends, but then he sees Peter come in and he's wearing the suit and he's on top of the ceiling and stuff, and Ned is like shocked and he's so shocked he doesn't know what to do. He says, "Look, man, I don't know if I can keep this a secret. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me." And Peter's like, "Ned, I need you to keep this a secret. After everything that May's gone through, we can't have that, like with Uncle Ben dying, and she would freak out, and it would not be good if she knew that he was Spider-Man." So he decides to keep his identity a secret, and so Michael Keaton is like getting technology from the aliens from the Avengers movie, and he's with the Tinkerer, and they're like working on technology, and Michael Keaton has like a Vulture suit that's straight from the comics, which is cool. And freaking Peter goes to the Midtown School of Science and Technology. This movie is very funny. It like has a style and sense to it where it just has a lot of jokes that work, I feel like. And it's a good high school movie. The drama and comedy works well. But basically, after Ned figures out he's Spider-Man, he's like oh, Peter knows Spider-Man. And then Tony Revolori, who plays Flash Thompson, he's like, yeah, Peter knows Spider-Man like Coach knows Captain America in the PSA videos. And then Tony Revolori is like, if you know Spider-Man so well, then you should have him show up to the party. He's like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll ask him to come. And so he goes to the party, and Ned is like about to like introduce Spider-Man as his friend, and it's gonna be cool. He's gonna be the coolest guy in school. And then Peter's about to do it, which would be really satisfying as an audience to see. But then he sees some trouble going down in the neighborhood. He's like, I could do the high school thing, but instead I'm gonna have to do, my responsibility is to stop the crime. And so he makes a choice, and he decides to try to stop the crime. And he goes up, and Donald Glover is there as the Prowler, or as the Aaron Davis, I guess. Yeah, as the Prowler. And he says, hey, don't shoot him. If you're going to shoot at someone, shoot at me. He's like, okay. And then, so Peter had to quit the academic decathlon to do the Stark internship. And then Liz Allen is the girl that Peter has a crush on. And there's these guys that dress up, or they wear masks like the Avengers masks, and they decide to rob a store or an ATM. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is at the party, and he's Ned Leeds. Jacob Batalon is down at the party. He's getting ready to introduce Spider-Man as his friend. He's going to be the coolest guy in school because he knows Spider-Man. And Tom Holland is up on the roof, and he's about to go down and do it, which would be very satisfying for the audience. But he notices some crime going on in the neighborhood. He has to make a choice between popularity and doing the right thing, so he decides to go and try to stop the crime. And he goes down, and Donald Glover is there, the Prowler, and he's like, and Tom Holland's like, if you're going to shoot at somebody, shoot at me. And he's like, okay. And so then he's swinging, and then all of a sudden the Vulture comes out of nowhere and swoops up and gets him. and takes him up super high and drops him, but he has like a parachute, a spider parachute. But then he lands in the water and it looks like he died, like he's dead. And then Tony Stark, Iron Man, comes out of nowhere and saves him, and then gives him a lecture about responsibility, and you can't be going after these dangerous big criminals like this. You just have to chill and stay put for now. And he's using Tony Stark is using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever, and so Peter and Ned, they decide to hack and mod the suit, and they take off the training wheels protocol, which gives Peter access to all the suit's capabilities, but he doesn't know how to use it. And there's this really cool AI voice assistant that's like Siri, called Karen, and played by Jennifer Connelly, which is really cool. And so they get from the bad guys, they get an alien stone that's very dangerous. It's volatile, it could explode at any moment. But Ned doesn't know this, so he takes it and puts it in his backpack. They go to Washington, D.C. for the academic decathlon. And then again, Peter has to make a choice between hanging out with his crush or going after the bad guys. So he goes after the bad guys. And then he ends up in the Department of Damage Control storage warehouse where he's trapped. And then he's going through stuff. He finds the Ultron head from Avengers Age of Ultron. He's like, what the heck is this? And then he's just in there and he tries to escape. So he has to try every single combination to find the right one to get out. And then once he gets out, he goes and then the stone is about to explode with the kids. By the time he gets out of the Department of Damage Control warehouse, they've already won the academic decathlon, and they're going up in the Washington Monument, and the stone's about to explode and kill them all. So Tom Holland, Spider-Man, he's like climbing up the building. He's like, I've never been this high up before. And then his chest symbol, it turns into a drone, which is really cool. He uses it, and then he like jumps and uses the web wings, and the cops are like, what the hell are you doing? Get down from there, or we're gonna open fire. And so he saves the kids, and then after the aftermath, the teacher is hilarious. He's like, I couldn't bear to lose a kid, not again at least. And then the one kid is like, there was flames, smoke, and lasers. It was like a Bon Jovi concert. I thought that was really funny. And then the guy that plays the teacher is such a good actor. He's in a bunch of other shows. He's so good. He's so funny. He's good in all these movies. And so then Peter so he goes to the homecoming dance, and there's a huge twist that Michael Keaton, the Vulture, is his date's father, which is crazy. It was really shocking. No one saw it coming. It was a big surprise. And then basically he takes Peter and his date to the homecoming dance, and then when she leaves the car, he's like, listen, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to shoot you in the face with this gun if you do not stop messing with me. He says, I know you're Spider-Man. You just need to leave me alone and everything will be fine. You can either leave me alone and I'll leave you alone and everything will be fine. But if you come after me, I'm going to kill you. And so Peter goes to dance with his date, and then he has to make another choice. And he decides to go after Vulture. So he shows up to the Vulture, and he's like, Vulture's like giving him a lecture like, you're so young and naive, you don't know how the world works. And he's like, yeah, maybe so. Maybe you're more experienced than me, but I know what right from wrong is, and what you're doing is wrong. And so Vulture calls in his wings, and they go around and destroy everything. And he's like, I'm sorry, Peter. And Peter's like, what are you talking about? That thing hasn't even touched me. And then the whole building collapses on Peter. and he gets crushed, and he's like a little boy. He's like crying. He's like, help me, help me, but no one comes to help him. No one knows he's there. So he does the most epic push-up ever, and he lifts the whole building. And then he gets his homemade suit, and he fights the Shocker, which is cool. And he webs and he attaches to this jet because Michael Keaton is going to steal all the Avengers technology that they're moving from Avengers Tower in the jet. And there's a really cool scene where they're on the jet, and it's an action scene. It's really cool. And then the jet crashes next to like Coney Island on the beach, next to the Cyclone roller coaster, and he's in his homemade costume outfit suit, and he fights the Vulture. And even though the Vulture was about to kill him, the Vulture catches on fire and is about to explode and die. Peter decides to save Vulture, and so he does it, but Vulture goes to prison. But because Spider-Man saved him, Vulture does not tell anyone about his secret identity. And so after he gets so he goes, and there's like this boat in the water in New York City, and he goes and fights the Vulture, and then there's a lot of destruction caused by him, and so he tries to web it all up and save everyone, and the Karen suit lady is like, congratulations, Peter, you were 99.9% effective at saving everyone. He's like, what? And then the whole ship like starts tearing apart, and everyone's about to die. But of course, Iron Man shows up and saves the day for everyone. And then they go up on top of this building, and Peter Parker is mad. He's like, man, if you even cared about me, you would actually be here. And then the suit opens up, and Tony Stark steps out, and he's actually there. He's like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it. And so he takes away his suit. So now he has to wear the homemade suit. And then at the very end, Peter comes to his apartment, and then Aunt May finds out that he's Spider-Man, which is crazy because that's never happened before. So, but yeah, this movie is pretty good. I give it like a 9 or 10. He's a good Spider-Man for a new generation. He's a younger Spider-Man. He's still older than me, but he's cool. Tom Holland he has his own vibes, his own vibe. He's different than Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. He's just a different kind of Spider-Man for the MCU.